Hi, friends, and welcome to Costuming in Color. This is a YouTube show dedicated to showcasing amazing costumers of color and the people who support them. I'm Gigi, a history buff, historical costumer, and dabblist.
And I'm Noelle, a costumer who likes to play both sides of the historical and cosplay world. Today we're interviewing Shasta of Sci-Fi Cheer Girl. Welcome to the show, Shasta.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here. Like, super
Me too,
high.
me too. But first, some house rules. So the first rule of costuming in color is that you tell everyone about costuming in color, okay?
This way, even those who don't have BIPOC in their local groups get to know ones in our global community.
The second rule is that kindness matters. Aside from that, there are no rules.
Let's get into it.
So, Shasta, where are you from, and do you still live there?
I was born, raised, and still live in the Mid-Atlantic region. So I've moved up and down anywhere from middle of New York State down to, oh gosh, Virginia.
Wow, cool. What is your favorite thing about living there?
I'm close to everything, so I can get to fabric districts, suppliers, historical sites are everywhere on the East Coast, festivals, fairs, cons. I have a lot of different types of food, and that's all relatively easy to get to. But the place where I actually live is like a suburb, so it's super quiet from day to day. It's great.
Yeah, that sounds nice. My proximity to food is also what makes me choose my house.
As is mine. Tell us a little bit about your Instagram handle and why you chose it.
Okay. On Instagram, I am Sci-Fi Cheer Girl because my blog name, Green Linen Shirt, was taken. And I didn't want to put like extra characters and spaces and stuff around it to make it like fit. I was like, nope, this will be it. And it's because I am a sci-fi nerd raised by two sci-fi nerds. And I was also obsessed with cheerleading for the first 30 years of my life. So it all kind of went together and worked out.
You were showing pictures of you in cheerleader outfits the other day, and I was just like, oh my God, she's so cute. I love it.
It was wonderful. It was my whole life. And strangely, now that I think about it, I have never done a like anime cheerleader cosplay, and I feel like I need to do that.
You need to have like a Sailor Moon cheerleader kick line for sure.
I think that will happen. I'm going to start auditions. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I would do it. Yeah, we're both like, hey, what's up? What is the costuming scene like where you live?
I have no idea. So because I'm around all these cities, but I live in the middle, it's not the middle of nowhere, but it's like you have to know where you're going to get there. I know costuming is happening, but I'm never involved because I don't really know anybody, or I don't talk to people. That's what the problem is. I'm terrified of strangers. So I just don't talk to people. Like we have, like the local college has a class on cosplay, which I kind of, what's the word when you help somebody with a thing? I advised on that. So that was pretty cool. And they had students that were interested in cosplay. I don't know what happened after that. But we have, like I said, we have historical sites. So we've got living history groups, and I always see pictures at the museums and like the event boards. I know people are showing up in costume, but it's not me. So I don't know. I'm working on it. And our local comic shops always have a huge cosplayer turnout for like free comic book day. So it's pretty neat, but I think most of us just drive out to whatever city is closest and we go to the con and then we all run back to our homes.
Yeah, most people are like that. I find that like lots of costumers are actually introverts, which I find very funny.
It's crazy.
Like, it's such an extrovert thing to do, but it's mostly populated by introverts.
Yep, we don't talk to each other unless we're in costume, and then we don't know who anyone is when we're not.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
I
a
don't
masquerade.
Yeah.
Cosplay, historical, or both?
Both.
Good.
For historical, what time or period / place is your favorite?
It's 16th century England because my first real events were Renaissance fairs. So I'm all about Queen Elizabeth all the time.
Yeah. That's most people's gateway drugs is like Ren fairs or the RCA, which is like
it was a
not the same.
downhill. Yep.
Yeah.
Since you also do cosplay, what type of characters in that genre do you gravitate toward?
Mostly characters that look like me, and primarily from comic books, because I like representation and I want to show my thanks for all of that representation. And it's kind of snowballing, especially right now. We've had such great characters, but back when I was growing up, we had Storm, and she kind of looked like me. And that's great. I love Storm. But now I have options. I can open my closet and pick out any comic book character, even ones that have, sides shaved and, they're kind of badass. And I like that. So anyone who looks like me, even if their costume isn't like complex or interesting, even, I'll give it a go just to say to the artists and, these companies that that's what I want more of. So.
Kicking it back to Storm, I will have to say Storm is one of my favorite characters. In fact, you can't see her right here on my comic book wall, but there's a Storm drawn by Jim Lee on my wall. And I was like, yes, when I got that. Yeah, and I got another free comic book day because I went and saw Jim Lee before he was Jim Lee.
Oh my gosh, support your local comic books, kids.
Yes. Magical things can happen at free comic book day for sure.
Yep.
How did you start in costuming?
So I grew up around sewing, and my mom was always making our costumes. So at some point I just said, you know what? I can help with this. And I did. Or she told me, make it yourself. You talk too much. And I was, okay, I'll do that. So I started sewing really young. And then in high school and college, I was obsessed with Shakespeare. English was probably the only subject that I could pass without an issue. So I stayed on that road. And then in college, someone told me, you have a costume for everything. And I don't think that was true, but that's about when I started calling myself a costumer. And then I found out that I could wear costumes like off campus to Comic-Con. So that was crazy.
Sometimes people's impression of you becomes kind of who you are.
It does. And in this case, it worked.
Yeah. You don't want that to happen if it's something that sucks, but you do want it to happen if it's something that's costuming.
Yes.
What keeps you in the costuming community?
Just a chance to wear a costume. I'm really only into it for the creation part. I will make things to wear for 15 minutes. As a matter, I've done that. My kids have their schools do mystery reader. So a parent or grandparent or someone comes in and they read a book to the kids, and it's right before lunchtime, and everybody's so excited because there's a stranger in the classroom, like a good stranger in the classroom. And they tell you, you can dress up if you want to, and no one does it. There's like one dad that I think dresses up as Dr. Seuss, or the Cat in the Hat, I think is that, yeah. So he'll dress up, he'll put on the suit, and that's great. And they always show pictures, and like, oh, okay, well, let me see what I've got. And I have stayed up all night the night before making full head to toe costumes based upon books that I found that would be good books for costumes, picked those, and then went in costume and read to a group of kids for 15 minutes, like reading slowly. Yeah.
There are local library events that you could wear it for an additional 15 minutes. Okay, no. No.
Other kids, nah, just mine.
That's totally fair. What would you like to see improve in the costuming community?
Top of my list, I would like to see better relationships between all the factions of costumers. So the hobbyists like me, theater professionals, makers, people who buy costumes, historians, cosplayers, all of those people that just want to play dress up. I want to see us collaborate more. And so, okay, great example, in my opinion, pirate festivals. So if you go to a pirate festival, you always have a living history group. And they've got their cannons, and they've got their like rope tying demos, and they're showing you all the ways that real pirates lived. But then you have like the comedy pirate troupe that's like doing plays and things, and they're kind of, you know, they've got like 6 Jack Sparrows and like a washer wench, and they call themselves pirates. Okay. And then you've got like the Deadpool pirates who didn't have a con that weekend, and they're all just arranged around this field staring at, like, mean mugging each other, like, I'm a real pirate, well, I'm a cool pirate. And it would just be easier if everybody got together and learned a little bit from one another.
Yeah.
Especially with like Bridgerton. So you've got the cosplayers who want Bridgerton dresses, and then you've got the historical costumers who've been making Regency dresses. And I feel like if we just talked to each other, we would have costumes that fit better but still had bright colors, and we could all get along and just be happy. So that's what I want out of this community, because I'm tired of seeing like a bunch of cosplayers in one group and then a bunch of historical costumers in another group, and they're all asking the same questions and giving answers that don't always work out. So
that Venn diagram is my demographic, exactly, because I'm historical costumes that are cosplays, and people are like, I don't know which group you're in, I don't know what to do with you, and I'm like, good.
Yes. I am in the middle.
Yeah, I like to be a little like introduce people to other people, to be like, hey, these people are cool, and you know, you're making it historically accurate, but like you could learn from them, and you know, they could learn from you.
It's true. Like, not all historical costumers wear stays. Like, some of us do just wear a bra sometimes, and we can help you fit that thing across your bust line properly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What is your favorite completed project?
My absolute favorite forever since 2012, when I finished her, is Batgirl 1567. She is a Renaissance version of, well, I made her for a Ren Fair, so she's a Renaissance version of Batgirl, and I have been able to fit that character during pregnancy, after pregnancy, small size, big size, comfy size. I can eat in her, I can drink in her. She's great. So absolute favorite. It took a lot to construct her. She's made out of like scrap fabrics I had around the house. I didn't even know I had that much black fabric just laying around, but I used like a curtain. I used extra pieces of foam that I had from armor. She's magical, and she hasn't fallen apart yet, knock on wood. So yeah, she's my favorite.
Kind of sounds like beautiful. Sisterhood of the Traveling Batgirl.
Yes.
That costume is amazing. Like, just like amazing.
Thank you. I love her.
What is the silliest thing that has ever happened during an event?
Okay, so I am not a silly person. I don't like comedy. I'm just always very serious all the time. This one time, I was dressed as Aqualad. I was a gender bent version of Aqua Lad. And this dude walks up to me. I was at a friend's table at a con, and he walks up to me and says, "Hey, Aqualass." And I was like, no, I'm Aqualad. And that's when it started. For the next, it had to have only been like 3 minutes, maybe, like at the longest, but it was a yeah, huh, nuh-uh, yeah, huh, nuh-uh. And we never actually got into why I was Aqualad. We just kept going back and forth like toddlers yelling at each other across the table. And that was it for me, because usually I don't like confrontation. It makes me nauseous. I can't handle it. But this one time I was going to win. I think it was even my first gender bent costume. So I was in it. And then I felt ridiculous because I'm an old woman. I didn't need to fight with this child over this very tiny thing. So yeah.
I like the story. I think everyone has a line, and that was the line for you that day, and they crossed it and you stood your ground.
Yeah. And I'm proud of myself.
I would be too.
So on the flip side, do you have any sentimental or nostalgic costuming memories that stand out to you?
In addition to being very serious all the time, I have no emotions, but I would say the first time all 4 members of my little family were able to go to the Ren Fair together, my son was 2 months old, so he was barely allowed out of the house. And we put him in a little we went to a Ren fair and we put him in a little shirt and a little coif, and he sat in his little like wrapped bit of fabric. And it was so cute and so nice. My daughter was dressed as a Rennie version of Rainbow Dash. So she had wings and she had the little cutie mark on a little necklace, and it was just the sweetest thing. My husband and I, we were both garbed up and we matched, but we all went out as a family and we just got to walk around, and everybody was so nice. The kids were well behaved. No one had to be taken back out to the car. It was great. But that was the first time it felt like, oh, this is a thing we all do together with our brand new baby. It's great. We even won a costume contest, which was weird because we don't usually enter those. So it was like the perfect Ren Fair day.
Oh, that's so sweet. Do you have that sticker that's like families who fair together stay together?
I'm going to now.
Yeah,
That's
a cool
cute.
one.
So looking at the bigger picture, what cons or events do you recommend?
So remembering that I am an introvert who is terrified of people in general, and especially large groups, and I'm on the East Coast, so I have a lot of options, but I've never been to, the super big ones. I would recommend BlurredCon if you like food and parties. I don't party, I just watch people, but I like that people are having fun around me and I can just sit back here and watch craziness happen.
That's
But
totally
what's
part of partying. Like people watching is part of partying.
right, it is. It's a party for me. I love it. I'm usually, having a cocktail at the same time. So it's great. And it's technically a family convention. Like you can bring kids, but that's the one that we don't bring kids to. There was like a fire show the last time they had it. The important part though are the food trucks. They have food trucks for 72 hours in the parking lot of the main hotel. And it's the most magical thing ever. So
Wow.
definitely BlurredCon, very good, very inclusive, very safe. Hotel cons are, in my experience, hotel cons are my favorite anyway, because I have the option of hotel food or convention food, and I don't really like convention food. So yeah, definitely BlurredCon. Also on the East Coast, because it's my first con, I would say Baltimore Comic-Con, especially if you love comic books and like meeting comic book creators and going to panels and things. It's so great. And then the last recommendation, again on the East Coast, would be Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. They have amazing food. So again, food motivated over here. I recommend any place that's got good food and drink, and this place has their own like brewery and winery and all of the things that make food better. So yeah,
that's really important because like eating well in costume is absolutely required, and you can't get through a con. I don't care how tight your corset is or whatever you're wearing, like you need to eat, kids. And if you don't have a place that has a million food trucks, bring some snacks, yo.
And we used to bring snacks like to cons, then I've got my bag, or especially when we have the kids and they need their I don't know, diaper bags, whatever kids have when they don't need diapers anymore. So we've got bags for the kids. It's really like fruit bars and granola bars and yogurt or whatever. So food's important.
Pro tip, bring a lobster bib with you when you go to a con, because if you do have good food experiences at cons, usually they involve lots of yummy sauces, and those get all over your cosplay no matter what's going on. So lobster bib it up.
That is genius. Yeah. I'm usually doing this thing where I'm holding it out here and hoping for the best.
Yeah, I'm definitely like hanging out over a trash can, just hoping and praying that things don't go. And I'm still wearing black, and somehow I'm like, no.
Yep.
Who is your costumer crush?
Everyone. I love everyone. I just love costume. But I do, if I had to pick one or two, I would say Samantha, the couture courtesan. She is absolutely lovely, and every costume she wears is just magical, and I'm always watching her YouTube videos like multiple times. I just love her. And Diana the Great, who is an amazing, stunning cosplayer. I think she's on the East Coast somewhere. She did a Persephone from Lore Olympus, and she's got the big pink hair and this gorgeous dress, and she just wears it to death. I love Diana the Great. She's amazing. So
yeah, for sure.
So do you have like an entertainment routine for when you're sewing or crafting? Do you have shows you watch or put on or songs you listen to?
I stopped listening to music because I used to listen to music in a car and then realized once I didn't have to drive anymore for, reasons, I forgot how to listen to music. So I started listening to podcasts while I work now. So recently I've been listening to the Stitch Please podcast, which is put on by Black Women Stitch. It's very good. I love the Scary Stuff podcast, which is run by a couple of friends of mine, and they just talk about horror movies because I like a fair number of horror movies, I found. And I love, there's another one. What is it called? Oh, Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. So good. So good.
That one is so good.
It is. So sciencey. So great. So those are my favorites to listen to when I'm sewing. Sometimes I will put on a period drama, but it can't be for the period that I'm working on because I tend to get annoyed at whatever's going on the screen. And I'm like, that's not where that seam goes because my seam is right here. So I'm ridiculous. I know. But yeah, so podcasts and occasionally a period drama.
Okay, cool. Who inspires you?
Honest people. Honest people inspire me. And specifically and very recently, Amber from DSA Threads, because she posted a messy studio video. And I was at the time dealing with a very messy studio myself. And I was inspired to post my own video because I feel like, especially on Instagram, we're always showing people our best sides. And this has come up a lot. Socialist Revolution had out a costumer struggles hashtag. And it's important to tell, especially new people to the hobby, that it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, I may have vacuumed that square of my studio that day just so I could take one picture and post it to Instagram, and that's all you see. So yeah, over here and there is all the stuff I pushed off of my sewing table so that you don't have to see it. But I think it's really important to be honest with ourselves and also with the world that we're sharing our information with. It's not always sunshine and rainbows and clean floors. Not at all. So, yeah.
So along that same vein, what or who are you grateful for?
This is where I show my heart. I am grateful for my incredibly supportive husband. We call him Hench Hubby. He is an amazing human. So for the 20 years that I've been into costuming, he has supported me. He's never made fun of me. He's never questioned how much money I'm spending, except for, one or two times when I wanted to stay in the fancy hotel for a con. But he's always there to help with deals on supplies. He does our travel planning when we go together to cons. Oh yeah, he's so great. I think when I had my daughter, he was like, "Do you want a serger like as a birthing gift?" And I was like, "Yes."
You got a push present and it was a serger?
It was amazing. I didn't know I was going to get that. Like, I don't need a castle. Give me this sewing machine. So, yeah, he's the best. I absolutely love him. I would not have gotten to this point of costuming without him just being there to make sure I eat and drink and remember to like turn on the heater in the winter in the studio. So yeah, he's fantastic.
That's so great. I love hearing about people who have wonderful husbands. Like,
he's the best.
The best. Gigi also has a wonderful husband. I have a wonderful husband. We're three ladies with wonderful husbands. It's great. What is your favorite inspirational quote and who is it by?
My favorite inspirational quote is "Please all and you will please none." And that is from Aesop. And I wholeheartedly believe it. As a person specifically related to costuming, as a person who does mashups of like things that probably shouldn't be mashed up and has to deal with fanboy comments a lot, I don't care. I just don't care. I'm here to please myself. And I always tell, other people that, especially new costumers, don't think about what someone's going to do when you get to the con. Think about how you're going to feel in your costume. Don't do it just to please other people.
Mhm.
It's going to lead to a lot of heartache. So
Yeah.
don't do it. Yeah.
That's solid advice. Yeah. You have to get used to the phrase, please unsubscribe. I use it.
If you could give a new costumer one piece of advice, what would it be?
Don't let your expectations ruin a good time. You can absolutely make a costume over a weekend. You probably shouldn't, especially if you're new, but you're going to be so worked up about the fact that it doesn't fit right, or your piece of armor keeps falling off because you expected that it would be something easy to do, or it was, every photographer was going to want to take your picture when you got there. Set realistic expectations, shoot for the moon, but perhaps make sure that you use the right kind of glue, for whatever you're doing. So just, you're there to have fun. Be honest with yourself about wanting to have fun, and run off of that. Don't run off of what you think is going to happen. So
That is solid. Well said. If you have a closing message of inclusion or equity or equality that you'd like to send out, we would love to make space for that.
Okay. For the community as a whole, especially with all of what we've had to deal with recently and, for ages, please remember that some of us get overwhelmed, and all of this attention that we may not have been receiving before it's taking a toll. So if you reach out to someone because you are trying to, diversify your friend circle and your events and do all of the things that we've been asking you to do and we really want to take part in, if someone has to turn you down, or they maybe ask for compensation that you weren't ready to provide, that's just the way it is. It's just, things are overwhelming, or we might be booked, or we need to be compensated for our time. Take that in, make the changes, have the conversations, keep inviting us, keep inviting all of your new friends, but just, don't take it personally. Maybe take it a little personally. Don't take it personally to the point where it's going to cause you to then thrust your personal struggles out into the world, because it's going to make you look less happy. And we don't want that. We all want to be happy, happy friends and move in the right direction. So be good allies.
All right. Well said. Thank you for joining us tonight, Shasta. It was lovely to get to know you a little bit better today. And also thank you to our viewers for joining us. We'll leave Shasta's information in the description box below, so you can go find her on all of her platforms and follow her.
Please do give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't for many more videos. And if you have a customer of color that you think we should interview, please use the form that we insert in the description box below to let us know about them. Make sure to leave a little love for Shasta in the comments as well. Bye, guys.